everybody. Welcome to Accounting Insights. Today we have Mr. Liswaniso Namatama with us, who is from Zambia and a member of the Zambian Institute of Chartered Accountants. So we are going to be talking about accounting in depth, putting emphasis on the recruiting process, how technology and AI these days is going to be playing a role in accountants and this profession.
All right, thank you very much. So, first of all, I would like to say thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here and to be able to talk about accounting, as it is such a huge passion for me. So, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. It is our pleasure. First question for you today I have is, how are accountants recruited, and what qualities would you say stand out in candidates in this?
All right, thank you. So, in terms of recruiting accountants, the first thing that we have to look at is accounting itself is such a diverse field. So there's quite a lot that is involved there. Therefore, the recruitment process might be slightly different depending on the organization. So the first thing that you will need to be recruited as an accountant is, of course, your qualification. So this is either your diploma in accountancy, your degree, ACCA, CIMA, CPA, and all other qualifications. So that's the first thing that you need. Then from there, the next step is to apply for the job. So it sounds very simple if you just say, I'll apply for this job. But there should be a lot of thought process before applying for a particular job. So by that, I mean, you have to look at yourself, assess what your goals are and what you want to achieve in this profession. So it's based on this that you'll be able to apply for the job. So you look at the type of environment as well. So like I said in the beginning, it's quite diverse. So if as an individual, what you like is auditing, you won't apply for any type of job that's out there. So your application will be specific to audit. And I say that because I'm in an audit industry. I'm actually an audit senior. So yeah. And then you also have other fields such as if you want to do tax, if you want to do advisory. So it's really important that what you're applying for aligns with your personal goals and your values and what you want to achieve out of this profession. And so that it will help you grow in that line. So that's the application part. Then once the application is done, the next step is to wait for your possible employer to call you for interviews. And that's another important stage of the application process. So once you're called for interviews, it provides the employer an opportunity for them to meet the person behind the application. They'll be able to assess your knowledge, communication skills, as well as a few other things. And it also provides you, the person who's applied, to meet your employer. You get to understand more about the job. You get to assess the environment. Does it fit what you want to achieve? And it's also an opportunity for you to find out more by asking questions, because there's always that part where you ask some questions. So after this, the next step is waiting for them to call you. So in this case, we'll say they call you and they offer you the job. So I think that's the important thing about applications, and make sure that you're applying for something that fits your goals and what you want to achieve. Then in terms of qualities that you should have as an accountant, the first thing I would mention is integrity and confidentiality. So as accountants, we are privileged to handle lots of information or data which is very confidential and it's not privy to any other people besides us. So there's need for us to safeguard this information and ensure that we do not let it out, because we have been entrusted to look at that information and we should carry out our jobs in such a manner. The second thing is analytical skills, another important thing. So as accountants, we need to be able to interpret the financial data and make it relevant for our users. Then thirdly is attention to detail. So we tend to deal with a lot of numbers, and it's very important that we pay the utmost attention to what we're doing. So in this case, you avoid errors and you also save up on time, because once you do something, you do it right, then that's it, move on to a different task. In a case where you have errors, that means you have to go back and start going through trying to correct that, and that needs more time, and that might render you inefficient in some cases. So it's important to pay attention to the utmost detail. Then the other skill is organizational skills. So we tend to have a lot of work as accountants, and there are these deadlines that we have to meet. So some organizations will have deadlines such as month-end closing process, where you have to post all transactions and complete all your management reporting by a certain date. So you need to make sure that you're carrying out your work in an efficient manner such that you meet those deadlines, because meeting them is a must in this case. In my case, where we've got audit, we've got reports that we have to issue out by specific timelines. So you need to make sure that you're well organized in your work. Lastly, one important thing is continuous learning. So I think we are in an evolving world, so it's rapidly changing, and there's need to keep up to date to all the latest changes that are there. So accounting itself offers a very good opportunity to do so, because it's always changing. We've got accounting standards that are being updated regularly. So there's need for us to keep up to date with this, and in order for us to stay relevant in our field.
That was actually really informational for me because I believe like these qualities you just mentioned, we develop them as we are learning in college and as we start working. We don't really get them like we just can't just get it overnight, right? We develop them as we are learning more, we're working more, we're seeing how the things we studied are actually put in the practical aspect when we work. And I hope I can get them too once when I get into the profession. I develop them and it actually makes me stand out.
No, definitely. You would definitely develop. It's a process, but the key thing is to make a deliberate effort and get started as soon as possible. Otherwise, it's something that you definitely get to learn, and you continue learning for the rest of our lives.
Yes. Thank you so much for that answer. The next question I have for you is, did you always want to be an accountant in high school, or did you discover this interest later on in your life? What really influenced your choice?
All right. So my accounting journey is kind of interesting. So this is because I wanted to be an accountant from a very young age. Honestly, I don't know why, but then I just had a liking for numbers. I love numbers. My favorite course in school, this is primary school, was mathematics. So I just admired numbers, and I thought accounting would be a right fit. So I also had this crazy idea where I thought, I would see some huge accounting books, and the only thing I would think of is just the thought of finishing reading that book. Feel like I'll be very knowledgeable, and I couldn't wait for such a time to come. And I'm glad it's come, where I've had to go through those accounting books. So my accounting journey started taking shape in junior secondary, which is grade 8. Yeah. So this is where I started taking a course known as bookkeeping. So the bookkeeping course is where you basically learn about the principles of accounts. So it's basically the foundation of accounts. You get to learn about your double entry, bookkeeping, financial records, and a few other things like that. So that was in grade 8, and that's when it started taking shape. Then fast forward to grade 10. Unfortunately, I did not take any accounting course. 10 to 12, my high school. So this was not by choice, but due to some limitations at the school I was at. but I did not let that hold me back. Despite not doing any accounting course in my high school, I still went on to pursue an accounting career. That's something that I always wanted. So after high school, I did some research in terms of what accounting course I could do, because there's different accounting programs. I also had the privilege to get some advice from a few people, and it was quite amazing. They did advise me. And finally, I settled for the Zambia Institute of Chartered Accountancy program, which is known as the Chartered Accountancy program. So I started studying this in 2017. So 2017 to 2018, I got my diploma in accountancy under Zika, which is the Zambia Institute. And during my journey, I got an award for best performing student in cost accounting. Then 2019, I decided to take a year off where I just wanted to plan my studies going forward. Then fortunately, I found a job. I started working in audit for the company that I'm still currently working for. That was mid 2019. So come 2020, I continued with my studies. In this case, I was now doing the Chartered Accountancy program. So I did this to 2022, where I graduated in 2023. And during my journey, I received another Best Performing Student Award in Auditing Principles and Practice. And further to that, I got selected by the Zambia Institute of Chartered Accountants as their ambassador. And this is how I represented them at the One Young World Summit, which was held in Belfast, Northern Ireland. So accounting overall is something that I was passionate about from the time I was young. And it's something that I've learned more about, and I've become more passionate about it. So it's really a great opportunity for me to be talking about something that I really love and I'm passionate about. Thank you.
But that is so inspiring. But I wonder, did you ever, while you were studying the courses and while you were working towards it, did you ever have a hurdle that maybe like had you rethink your choice?
No, I didn't have any hurdle that made me rethink my choice, but I did have some hurdles in my accountancy journal. And one of them was when I started working. So school itself, it can be a bit exhausting, and to add on work in a very busy environment made it really tough. But then, you see, I believe where there's the will, there's the way. So you just have to find a way to overcome this hurdle. Because for me, giving up is never an option. You just have to find a way. And through all this, I did extremely fine, despite having to work some long hours and having very little time to study. I remember I would limit my studies to weekends at times, but at times you'd be working on a weekend, so it was quite hectic. You have to break some nights and things like that. So it required some intense sacrifice, but it's something that paid off because I was one of the best students, and I was even rewarded by being selected as an ambassador of the institute.
That is actually something I will look up to now when I'm studying and making that my motto to just keep moving even though things do get hard because it is actually college and all the courses you take, they just get exhausting and too much at one point. But yes, we need to ground ourselves and make sure that we still go through them and not give up in between. Thank
Exactly. Exactly.
The
All
next
right.
question I have for you is how do you think will technology and how AI is emerging these days will change the role of accountants in the future? And what skills should accountants be aspiring for?
Okay. So in terms of technology, it's made quite a significant impact in the way we carry out our work as accountants. So one way in which this is done is we're able to analyze large data more promptly. So and that increases our efficiency and effectiveness. So this is done through the use of IT systems. An example in my case is we use a certain IT system known as Caseware to prepare our financial statements. So rather than using the manual process where you start everything from scratch, you simply come up with a trial balance, you upload it, and it will have a set of financials, just do a few things. So it's really helped improve the efficiency and effectiveness of our work. And what this does is, number one, it creates satisfaction for our clients, because a client will come up to you, they want this done, and if you do it promptly and get back to them, they will definitely be happy with you and they'll be more willing to give you other assignments next time. And it also creates goodwill in the sense that they can easily recommend you to someone else who needs a similar service because they know you'll be able to deliver, and not only deliver, but deliver promptly. So it also helps create value addition. There's quite a number of things that can be added on rather than just the usual information that we do. You can create value through use of technology as well as AI. So it's something that's very important and something that is very helpful. So what I'd just like to encourage everyone, especially in the industry, is to embrace the technology that's there, because it's here to assist us and help us more efficient. Something I would hear about, I don't know if it's the same there, is some people would say with the emergence of technology, AI, the role of the accountant will no longer be needed. And I totally disagree with that. The role of an accountant is not being wiped out. We're simply adding on tools to assist us to become more efficient and effective. So that's something that we should all embrace, because it's very important. And looking at things at this point, we're only going forward from here. So we need to make sure we adapt quickly to this before the other new changes that we also need to learn of. Then in terms of skills that are required, so number one, I would say technical proficiency. So there's need to have an in-depth knowledge about the softwares that are out there that relate to accounting. So quite a number of people have some knowledge here and there, but it's important to have fully understand how you could utilize that particular software or IT system and how you can use that to your advantage. So that's something that we need to do. Then secondly, I would say data analysis. So as time is going by, the data that we're using is becoming more and more large, and it's through the use of such systems that we're able to analyze it in an efficient manner. So it's important to do so. Then you also have other things that have been there for a long time. An example is Microsoft Excel. So on face value, Excel, you maybe will have some basic knowledge about it, but there's really a lot that can be done in Excel that can assist you, your organization, as well as just help you offer a good quality service to a client. So that's one of them. You can also go in depth in terms of some either programming or something like that, just to help improve efficiency. Because like I said, accountants, what we sell is a service. So you need to make sure that you're efficient and you offer a good service such that your customer is satisfied. And then the other thing that we need to be critical of is cybersecurity. In as much as we're using all these technology and IT systems, we need to be very cautious about the threat that comes with them. And you need to make sure that you put in measures to mitigate that risk. Because what would be unfortunate is embracing all this, you expose yourself to a bigger threat that might either pull you down or crash you. So it's very important that we mitigate the threats that come with cybersecurity. Thank you.
Thank you for that. That was actually really insightful in a way for me that I was feeling like before when I started seeing in my college too how AI has taken over a lot of things we do and how technology is helping us. But at one point, it is also taking away some of the things we do. Like, you don't really need people doing them because AI does it for you. So there's that like the labor has decreased in that sense, but I feel like for accountants that is not the case because clients and people do like that is technology in this career can supplement us. Like it can complement what we do, but it can't really take away all that accountants do, right?
Exactly. That's very true. So you still need human intervention to run with this technology. And like you said, it's there to supplement us and not to replace us. So I know most people fear and say, oh, accountants' work it will be done by technology. You won't need accountants. But I always say to people, you don't fear technology, just embrace it. The only person you should fear is someone who has embraced it because they'll have a better skill set than you. Those are the people you should fear. So instead of fearing them as well, just embrace it so that you have similar skill sets and you all be relevant in today's world.
Yes, that is true. Thank you for that. The next question I have for you is what growth and specialization opportunities are there in accounting?
Thank you. Like I mentioned in the beginning, accounting is quite diverse. There's quite a lot that you can do with accounts. So in terms of growth, we will talk about, let's say, if you're from school, you get employed in an organization, you will start off maybe as an accounts clerk or an accounts assistant, and there's quite a number of levels where you grow. So from that, you go to maybe you become an assistant accountant, you can go to an accountant, from there finance manager, chief financial officer, finance director. So all those are levels in terms of growth, and they come with different roles, and that will also just help shape you in terms of your growth. Then in terms of let's say accounting will not just be limited to finance department. So there's other additional roles that you can take up as well. So an example would be I've seen quite a number of accountants who are now chief operating officers, CEOs, or managing directors. Others have also gone the route of IT systems, because then you talk about the risks that come with IT systems. So if you are an accountant and you also go into IT, I think you'll be well invested to look at those two together. In your audit firms, you start off as either an intern or you start off as an associate in this case, or you get employed. From there, you move on to a senior, and then you become an audit manager. From there, it's senior manager, then you become either director. From director, you become partner. So that's the highest level in an audit firm. So if you look at all these levels, there's quite a number of levels, depending on the organization, but it still means that there's quite a number of levels, and each level will come with different tasks. You'll get to learn quite a lot from them, and from there you'll be elevated to the next, and the exposure that you get as well from this is quite amazing. So it's really amazing. Accountancy is really an amazing course. Then in terms of specialization opportunities, so you can specialize in financial accounting. I think that's one of the things that you can do. You can specialize in tax if you like tax, which is very interesting as well and important to know, regardless of what you specialize in. And then you've got your management accountants or cost accountants. You've got your forensic auditors. you've got financial analysts or financial advisors. So there's quite a number of branches that you can specialize in accounts. So it's all dependent on what your goals are and what you want to achieve. So it's quite a lot.
Would you say that this is a really long journey that people have to go in accounting?
I wouldn't say it's a long journey. So
Mhm.
by that you mean the studying period or
No,
when the part?
the working, when you're working from getting from the bottom level, so from being an intern to reaching that level where you're a top level manager, accountant. Would you say that is a long journey for people to traverse?
No, I wouldn't say it's a long journey to get to such levels. So the most important thing is the knowledge that you have and how you apply your skill sets. Based on this, that you'll be able to rise in an organization. So it's not quite a long journey. I think once you just fully understand the organization that you're in, what is required of you, and you're able to deliver on time, and that should be sufficient for you to quickly rise up the stairs in the accounting profession.
I agree. There is a vast opportunities given to people in this career.
Yes,
Yes.
there
The
is.
next question I have for you is what would you say, or what is your one key advice for students who want to pursue a successful career in accounting?
All right, thank you. So what I'd like to mention is accounting is a very interesting course. It's very amazing. And if you want to pursue a career in accounting, I will tell you, go for it. It will unlock a number of doors, even things that, were unthinkable. Look at in my case, I got to represent my institute in Northern Ireland, something that I would not even dream of, but I got put out there because of my journey in chartered accountancy. So it's definitely a very good course, and I would say just go for it. You get to learn a lot from it. The exposure that comes with it is close to none. It will improve your skill set, and it will also just help you contribute positively in your organization as well as country at large, because there's some who are in public sector accounting and work for government and everything else. So it's really amazing. And another thing to note is accounts is not just restricted to numbers. There's a lot of services that we offer as accountants. So this needs to be open-minded when pursuing accounts and not just restrict it to numbers. Otherwise, it's quite an amazing course, and I would say go for it. You won't regret it.
Yes, thank you so much. That is something that will motivate a lot of students ahead when they're thinking of choosing accounting as their career ahead. That are all the questions I have for you today. Thank you so much, Mr. Namatama. It was such an insightful session with you. I feel all the listeners and the watchers today would actually be able to have a clarity of what accounting is and what all opportunities, the vast growth aspects that it provides us. And it is quite inspiring how you became an accountant and your story ahead. And we will always look up to it. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I know due to timing differences, you had to sacrifice and stay late, and it's something that I appreciate as well. So
Yes,
thank you very much for having me, and I look forward to hearing from you and working with you more on such similar projects.
thank you so much. It was our pleasure.
All right. Thank you very much.